our dear subscribers of YouTube channel and our participants of the platform Allcargo Market. I have a great honor tonight to make this interview with Jim Waters. We know each other for several years. I want to make a great and a sweet introduction about Jim, but it's going to be only full of the compliments. So, Jim, please do me a favor, introduce yourself.
Thanks, Mir. So thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure. I haven't seen you in a while face to face, so it's good to see you as always. So my background, again, my name is Jim Waters. I'm a fractional CMO, and I have been working in marketing, in sales and logistics for probably the last 10 years. I was the head of marketing at Tive, Tive, which is a real-time in-transit visibility platform provider. As well, I was the head of marketing for Freight, Frayt, and that is a final mile, last mile delivery platform here in the United States. I'm now a fractional CMO, and I will explain that to folks that might not know what a fractional CMO is. A fractional CMO comes in to help usually startup companies, but it can be mid-market or mature companies that need just that jump start to get started in marketing and help people realize that they might have a solution to a logistics or shipping problem that they just can't get enough bandwidth around as far as marketing support. So I've, for the past 6 months, have been with 5 different clients, helping launch those companies, and I still have a good portfolio of companies that I'm working with. So I'm looking forward to talking with you.
Thank you, Jim. I want to once again to focus attention of our viewers now that Jim is especially focused on the marketing in the logistics, which makes him very special because nowadays, as we discussed just before our interview, unfortunately, many of the companies, they use freelancers for the marketing, and these freelancers, they are trying to use the same role model and also for the barbershops and also for the freight forwarder companies and also for the nightclubs, which is, in my opinion, is the only solution if you have very, very low budget. But if you want really get the result, you have to hire professionals, and the professionals who is doing this business for many, many years in the same branch like you are doing in the logistics. So please allow me to go straight to our questions because I guess that we get enough interest from our viewers what we are going to talk about today. We are going to talk tonight only about the marketing in the logistics. This is the purpose of our interview. My question is to you next. Marketing is playing the big role in the sales, and sales are putting a lot of hopes on the marketing to gain the new leads and hot leads and to get brand awareness around the customers. But where is the border between the marketing and the sales? Because most of the time, sales are, to be honest, a bit complaining about the marketing, that they're not preparing well enough for them field for the successful sales. In your opinion, where is the border between the responsibilities?
Yeah, that's a great question. So with any logistics technology, it takes obviously a team, and that team is always going to be comprised of sales and marketing that are on the front lines. That line between sales and marketing is usually blurred. And I say that because typically marketing is tasked with lead generation, but also branding and awareness. So what we're looking at is sales is waiting. Most times they're waiting to have someone come on the website, fill out a form, download some information that they're interested in as far as a solution. and then the sales process starts. Now, I don't subscribe to that. I think that branding and awareness is probably one of the most, if not the most important thing as far as getting not only the name of the company and the brand of the company in front of people that may need a solution, but at the same time, we're focused on lead generation, but really lead generation comes out of the branding and awareness tactics. So you've got marketing strategy, which is mainly the roadmap of what you're going to do, right, to get that branding, awareness, and lead generation. And then you've got the strategies and tactics, and I know we'll get into that in a little bit, but you have to have certain strategies that are mapped to where you are in your company life cycle. So if you're at the very beginning, it's all about creating that, what we call remarkable content. And that's not an easy thing to do. And as you are probably going to get into later, when you bring on marketing folks, they've been marketing candy bars, they've been marketing television sets and different services, and they think that marketing in logistics and in shipping and supply chain is just as easy as a candy bar or a barbershop or whatever else they're marketing. But the discipline is very different. And when I first started in logistics, I had to come clean and say, I don't know everything there is to know about logistics, but I'm a fast learner and I'm ready to learn. Fast forward 6 years, now I'm more of an industry advisor and a fractional CMO, but I understand the problems and the challenges that shipping companies and shippers and 3PLs, 4PLs, I understand the challenges that they're trying to overcome. And it's important that as a marketer, I am telling and helping companies tell the story that we have not only a product, but we also have a solution that's going to help you, say, eliminate preventable delays and damage. So to kind of come full circle, you have to have not only marketing professionalism, but you also have to have a knack for what is going on in logistics and supply chain, which is a lot. But you have to also understand, what is happening in the world of logistics and what are those solutions that people are going to be interested in to help them get to a better place with their company.
Right. It is very good points you just light up for our viewers. But still, for planning the marketing budget, for understanding of the price of the lead, to understand how many leads are going to be hot leads and how many these hot leads are becoming the customers. We had with you several conversations, once in Kosovo, in Berlin, in Lisbon. And then I do remember that you always made a focus on how to make cost price of the product of the service based on the price of the lead. Can you please tell me at the moment in the logistics in USA, what is the average price for the lead?
The average price for a lead is going to be driven by what channel in marketing that lead comes from. And I know you're going to touch on some of this later, but I just kind of want to tee it up. So there's a lot of different marketing strategies and tactics that will do what we said, the branding, the lead generation, et cetera. What is the norm in marketing is we have to account for every I'll say dollar because I'm in the US, but for anything that is spent in marketing, there needs to be a return and it needs to be measured appropriately. And that is usually CPL or cost per lead. So when you think about going to a trade event or a trade show like Fruit Logistica, that show is probably going to cost you, at a minimum, probably 50 or 60,000 USD, US dollars. And when you get back from that show, you're going to want to know, how many people did we talk with? How many people did we have meaningful conversations with? And, are we going to be able to follow up with them? And the end result of that is pipeline, right? So in that pipeline, there might be 600 at the top and then 5 at the bottom. And what we need to look at and measure is, and see if it was a successful show for this company or that company. We need to know, how much did every single lead end up costing CPL for that event? And that ends up in the pipeline. So if you got, you spent $60,000 and got 10 leads in your pipeline, that's $10,000 for cost per lead. Now, flip that on its head, and you are doing, say, a podcast, or you're paying for a sponsorship of a podcast where you're a participant. Now, that is considerably cheaper. It's a cheaper way of getting your message out, your brand out, and then participating in another meaningful conversation, but it's probably 10,000 US dollars. So if you see 200 top of funnel leads, and then again, 10 go into your active pipeline, so they have some interest and they have a budget, they have BANT, what they call BANT, and in sales, that means we're good. They have all the different check marks, so we can move forward in the selling process. So that lead is going to be considerably less expensive than the $10,000 lead that came out of a Fruit Logistica or a Viva Fresh, or one of the other industry leading events. So it's always important to keep in mind that although face-to-face meetings are invaluable, those meaningful conversations can happen, yes, on a trade show floor, but also in other venues that are less expensive.
I see now the picture how our viewers are now scrolling down this video, trying to find your contact details, because I'm sure that now they are excited to call you and email you to help to promote and do the best marketing for their companies. But I want to say once again that Jim is responsible for the marketing, and this lead price is the generation of the potential customer. The final contract should be signed by the sales.
100%.
So it should be clear. Let's move to another question. Your experience is with the companies who are successfully providing the SaaS. It's a software as a service. It is very successful business model, which in last 5 years completely took over all the markets. It is every company with knowledge or without knowledge, they're trying to call themselves SaaS company. But my question is, do you think that era of the SaaS companies are over, or it's still we will see in future thousands of the new SaaS companies?
So I definitely believe that this is the beginning more than the end of SaaS companies. And the reason I say that isn't because I've been working with SaaS companies for the past 20 plus years, but rather people and businesses now want to pay only for what they use. So, it's important from a budgetary standpoint that, companies are able to sign up for a subscription model, or, get rid of all the servers and the maintenance and all that goes along with traditional software, including updates, and there's just a long laundry list. But when the SaaS model came along, it was much easier to deploy software. It was much easier to deploy solutions because you didn't have to have engineers come on, onto your site. And you didn't have to have all these different technical resources at the ready, where SaaS companies just, you literally, pull the trigger and everything's ready to go. So I think SaaS is going to be around, for the foreseeable future. I definitely believe in its model, and I believe in the cost of a SaaS model, because I think it's more palatable to companies worldwide, not just in logistics.
I do agree with you, but still I want to make another extra comment. There is still a lot of companies who is working in old-fashioned way, because they're still afraid to give, as they believe, the power to the SaaS companies, and they prefer and they lie to themselves that having the own server is more secure than to have some cloud services. But if you compare number of the companies who is successful in the business and who is less successful, then you immediately see how many of them is using SaaS companies and how many of them is not. So it is just visible results of the choice. And marketing is like a beautiful cake, but every cake exists of the many ingredients and elements. In your opinion, what is now the modern marketing in the USA, and what have all other parts of the world to learn from the USA? I want to also put another extra notice from myself. I still do believe that in every country, in every region around the world, there are many, many great people in the marketing, sales, in the creating the products. But still, in my personal opinion, USA is dominating. So my question is, what elements making the cake of the marketing so successful in the USA?
Yeah, that's a good point. And I've in my career, I've had the opportunity to market not only in the U.S. but also worldwide, as you know, when we worked together a few years ago. So I'm not sure there's there's data points that support that statement. I'm not sure that there aren't. But it does seem like the U.S. does have, a bit of an upper hand and an advantage for marketing, especially with SaaS solutions. As you have described, marketing's like a cake. It's got a lot of different ingredients to it. And what I've found over the years is the ingredients change. You might switch from butter to margarine, or you might switch from, white flour to wheat flour. But some things remain constant, right? And that's the need to create the meaningful conversation. So if you think about the journey of a customer, they need to know, okay, I have a problem. Or don't call it a problem, call it a challenge. And if that challenge is in the logistics, will it help me solve that problem cheaper, faster, better than if I didn't deploy freight technology, or freight tech, as we call it? I think in most cases, people that are running these companies would agree that freight tech is definitely the way in 2024 and beyond to, capitalize on the ability to leverage data and information in new ways. So, for instance, if it's visibility, 5 years ago, maybe there wasn't GPS trackers. Maybe it was just cellular on 2G and 3G. But now there's 5G technology and beyond. There's GPS, there's cellular, there's LoRaWAN. So I think that the more people are looking for these solutions, it's important for the marketers to understand that you need to be able to tell that story, tell it in a concise manner, and present these solutions to different companies so that they understand what works for one company might not work for another. And part of that recipe, as you said with the cake, is making sure that a lot of those single ingredients are always present. So I'll stop there because I know where this is going, and I know you have a couple of follow-up questions, so I don't want to take up all the bandwidth.
I believe that people who is not yet that deep in the learning about the marketing, because I believe that every startupper or the owner of the small or medium-sized company is obligated to learn about how marketing works before to hire the agency or hire the person on board, because they should talk on the same language. So he should have the basics of the marketing to understand where a company goes. And of course, people most of the time believe that the basics of the marketing is constantly visiting the trade shows to show themselves, to make a brand awareness. They believe that it is emails, mass mailing, it is advertisement on the radio or the TV where it's available and has a fair price. Pay to sales people for taking the potential customers to the restaurants, bars, and etc. But it is a bit old-fashioned, if I may say so, ways of the gain the customer or gain the lead. There is much more any new tools. In this perspective, do you believe that trade show is going to leave us offline tool of the brand awareness for next 10 years, or is becoming some hybrid version between the online and the offline, or is going to be at the end of the day completely online? What is your opinion?
So my opinion on trade shows, trade events, in-person conferences. I'm fresh back from Manifest. I talked to you offline about that. I firmly believe, and especially after the COVID pandemic, that people got a taste of what it's like to not attend trade events. They were canceled for at least a year, if not more, worldwide. And people began to attend online videos and trade shows. But what was lacking there was and I like to say it, and I'll say it, a few different times, the meaningful conversations that happen between people. They don't happen as rapidly or as easily in an online environment as they do in a true face-to-face environment. Case in point, the Manifest show that I was just at in Las Vegas on February 6th through the 9th, this was 5,000 plus or minus people and companies that gathered for the specific reason of collaborating, meeting, talking, sure, gambling, drinking, eating. But those are all things that, people need to do. They need to get together. They need to discuss ideas, and they don't necessarily have that opportunity when you're, a participant 3, 4, 500 in an online environment. Maybe you could put a comment or a question in the text box, but rarely is it ever answered because you only have 1 hour, and it starts off with, "Can you hear me? Hello." And then it ends with, "Okay, well, we didn't get to the other 200 questions, so somebody will reach out and call you, and maybe you remember your question, maybe you don't." But I firmly believe that human beings, they exist to interact and to talk and to figure things out. And although I value online collaboration just as much as anyone, I don't think that the trade show, the classic trade show, the Fruit Logistic is the CES, the RELAs of the world, are not going to exist because people want to get together and they want to talk.
Yeah. I'm completely agree with you. This is the, I think that key of being the human being. We need to see each other. We need to shake the hand. We need to take to more informal atmosphere from the formal trade show hours. But still, with your allowance, I want to add what makes me sad, because from April to last year to April this year, I'm totally going to participate about like 18 trade shows all around the world, and I want to complain that people are not getting 100% from the trade shows. People are not using the trade shows for maximum efficiency. For example, like at last day of the show, sometimes they are not showing up at the booths, or showing up with the 2 or 3 people, or they have not enough business cards, or they are not walking around and collecting the business cards, or just a simple one, when customer ask what is your price per product, they have no idea about this. I even have seen like this. So my complaint is about that using not efficiently trade shows is the dangerous key for getting off from the trade shows, because the budget what you pay and what you get, it is not always making the owner of the company happy. And with your allowance, this beautiful story about that we go to the trade show to keep relationship with the existing customers, I'm not also going to buy it. With all
Yeah.
my respect, I'm not going to buy it. The reason of the trade show to gain new customers on board and not keep the relationship with the existing customers. Maybe yes, but not at the first top 5 priorities. All right. The next question is, I think that you will like it very much. Marketing, in the opinion of many owners of the startups, small businesses, medium-sized businesses, is the tool to find out where is the customer pain is and what customer really need, and to get customer attention to the company or to the service or to the product. But in my opinion, marketing should play the big role in the creating the product and the creating the service. Are you believing that it's what mostly people are not doing? Do you believe that before creating the product, people should ask the marketing first and make the market research, and not putting on the table mission impossible? What is your opinion about this?
That's a great question. And I am a firm believer in marketing should be the role of marketing should be involved at every stage in the building of not only the product, but the company. So for instance, there's a fine line, and some would say a hard line, between product marketing and marketing communications. So product marketing, it can be defined a number of different ways, and it's a very wide net, if you want to use that term. Product marketing is market research. It is building personas, which leads to your ideal customer profile or ICP. These are all things and more, pricing, competition, SWOT analysis. All of this is encompassed in product marketing. So although we did call it research, and I'm sure the founders of a lot of companies, including the ones that you and I have worked for, they understand that that research is necessary. They wouldn't necessarily call it marketing. I disagree with that. I think that all of that is encompassed in product marketing. And once you understand the price points and the pain points, the personas, who are these people that have these challenges? Are they, everyone wants to sell at the corner office. They want to sell to the CEO. They want to sell to the COO. And that's great, but those folks are not always available. But their teams were hired for specifically those purposes. So they need to become educated, meaning their teams are going to get educated on solutions, and they're going to reach out to these companies that they believe are going to help take those pains away. So bringing this full circle, I believe that product marketing is and should be involved from day one before that product is ever conceived.
I wish that people going to listen to this part 3 times. They're just going back to the beginning, going to listen, understand, and then listen again, and then act. Product marketing is the key to save the money, efforts, and losses. One of my friends decided to open the market research agency, and he asked me, I should make a beautiful logo and put something to gain the attention. And I did advise him to put in his logo the short sentence. And the sentence is next. First, lost is the best lost. And he told me, no, this is very, very negative, and no one is going to buy my product. And I said, but then you have to explain, what does it mean? If people make the product marketing and the market research, they will understand, should they make this service or the product? So they first lost of paying your bill is going to be best lost. So do you believe, Jim, same as me, that the market research is very important and they should go through the whole company life from the beginning to the end?
I do, and I think that that product marketing and market research is pretty much the bedrock or the platform on which you build that company and that product. And I won't mention any companies or products here specifically because I don't think that's fair. But when you think about the problem that one of the companies that you and I both worked for was trying to solve, they did a very good job at doing that product marketing and product research before the product was ever conceived. And it came from a real problem where the gentleman that launched the company was simply trying to solve a problem that his dad had. And it was that simple. And he said, there's got to be a better way to tackle this. And he began in his spare time and in his basement, in his dad's house, just doing the research and finding out, can I invent something that will take these pains away? And the answer was yes. But the answer could have been no. And that's where he would have stopped. But instead, all the data and the information pointed to, yes, this is possible, it's feasible. And yes, there's some people out there that, and a lot of companies that could use this technology to make logistics and supply chain better. And that's where one of these companies came from, which makes your point that when you do the research beforehand, of course, you don't end up inventing something that nobody wants.
Jim, in your daily life, you use many marketing tools, softwares, which already well proven to you the efficiency, and you use them day after day. But progress is going on, and the number of the marketing tools are growing, same as the number of the SaaS companies. Last year or last half a year, was there any marketing tool where you put your attention and thought, I have to learn a bit more about this?
So one of the tools that I became acquainted with over the past 6 months, and like you said, there's new technologies coming out all the time that aid marketers in bringing their stories to life and then bringing those stories to market faster and more efficiently than ever before. One of those technologies is around building slide decks or PowerPoints. Now, wherever you go, we affectionately used to call slideware the answer to the live demo, right? So that, there's an old saying, never do a live demo because anything can go wrong. This technology is called Beautiful.ai, and I know I'm giving you a lead into AI because I know we're gonna hit there soon. This company, Beautiful, spelled the way it is, Beautiful.ai, allows people that don't have PowerPoint skills, which you're going to need to use at trade shows, you're going to need to use on Zoom calls and podcasts. It gives a marketer sort of speed to the end, right? So where you used to have to come up with your ideas and then build a PowerPoint deck, or better still, you'd have to pass it off to a graphic designer and they'd give you multiple iterations and you'd send it back and you want different colors and you want this and you want that. Well, now Beautiful uses artificial intelligence. So you tell it exactly what you want, and it gives you a couple of versions within minutes, within seconds. I have used that over the past 6 months, along with probably 15 or 20 other tools that are relatively inexpensive. And again, using a SaaS model, you can pay $10, $15, $20 a month or less and have tools that allow you to get your job done better, faster, more efficiently, and have an end product that is just as good, if not better, than what you would have had yourself or made yourself or contracted out to an agency or somebody else in your group. Instead, you can do that all yourself.
Thank you, Jim. Once again, I'm happy to notice that only the great marketing man as you, not only promoting himself, but also promoting the others. It can be done only by the great man. If we open it, Pandora box of the artificial intelligence, the purpose was that I'm going to open this box, but you open it first. So then you are going to get this big hit. Artificial intelligence, is it something what is going to be the competition to the marketing society, or it's going to be the supporter, or it's going to be just one of the tools?
So I think, and I'm not alone, that artificial intelligence or AI is going to aid marketers, not put them out of a job. When you think back to, I don't want to date myself, but when I first started in business, there wasn't email, there wasn't, there was a fax machine. There wasn't the internet the way we know it today. If you were going to do research, you had to literally go places or call people on the phone or consume paper reports. And when the internet was introduced, and I remember it vividly because I didn't have the internet in college, so we had to go to the library. The introduction of the internet caused a lot of upheaval. I mean, a lot of people, said, oh, that's going to take away jobs. And, all sorts of fallacies that spring up, and rightfully so, because it's a new technology or it's something new that people aren't used to using or talking about. But in the end, the internet became an enabler. It became, a tool that people use to do research, to communicate faster, to communicate better. Look where it's gotten. I mean, it's got YouTube and videos, and now we have Zoom, and many versions and many brands of Zoom, Google Meet, and it's not putting anyone out of work and out of business. It's enabling people to do smarter business, faster business, and better business. I use AI every day. I use it for a number of different reasons, but mostly it's going back to your point of the research that's required to help these companies launch their products, understand the personas, create those ideal customer profiles. There's no easy way to do these, and even with AI, you can't tell a chat GBT or Copilot or Gemini that, here's what I want, and they're going to give it back to me in 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, and it's going to be perfect. But what it is it's a template, and there's nothing wrong with getting a little bit of a head start with a template and then working with that. So to fast forward to writers are going to be put out of business because ChatGPT can do all the writing, that's not the case at all. Although I do understand the sort of the fear that people might have, and there are some real fears there that AI could go in a bad direction, but the internet could too. And there's no escaping that truth that although there's great things online, there's really scary and bad things online. So just like that with AI, there's some great things that AI can help us do, but we don't want AI to take over our lives. And I don't think with the right governance and the right recipe, I don't even know what that recipe is. I don't think anyone does yet. But I think it's going to be an enabler and not a job ender.
As a founder of the marketplace Allcargo Market, I choose the way to make my product built in public. So I have a focus groups. We discuss with people next steps and next steps. And one of my priorities.
And you may do that online, and you may do that face to face.
Both, because if you ask me now, do you want to go to the library or search on internet, I will say that I want to go to library because I can find there many of clever girls, which I cannot find over the internet. So I prefer to do it in the hybrid version to meet them offline and online. And one of my priorities in the my way to make it built in the public was to implement in my platform the calculator of the carbon footprint. But people, vendors, buyers, and service providers, they decide that another tools on the platform is more important. So we put the carbon footprint on the third quarter of 2024 because they believe that net zero logistics is a part of the marketing. What is your opinion?
So I think that net zero, carbon footprint, sustainability, all of those things are very, very real and very, very important. I don't believe for a minute that the way that the world is unfolding, it can continue to have products on the market that are polluting, that are, burning away our ozone layer, that are causing, greenhouse gases, and, all these things are real. But what people and companies are realizing is most times, up until recently, a lot of the sustainability efforts cost a lot of money. And I think that's more, it's more kind of a fallacy that it may have been that way 5 years ago, especially 10 years ago, but with technology evolving and better ways of doing things and, doing things differently, we can not only make business work, but we can make it work sustainably. So yes, I believe that marketing is talking more about sustainability than they ever have before, but that's because we're in a different place than ever before. But I do know that leading companies do have KPIs that are focused strictly on sustainability, less of a carbon footprint, going greener, if you will. There's probably a dozen, 50, 100 ways to say it marketing wise, but we've only got one world and we're going to have to clean it up. Whether that costs a lot or a little, it'll probably diminish over time, but I don't think that this is ever going to go away. And I don't believe that it's just marketing speak.
Jim, I hear somewhere far away that thousands of people are screaming to me that I have to ask this question, that question about this, question about that. I know that we have a time limit, unfortunately. I myself want to talk to you for hours, as we did it before in Pristina and Berlin. And but I want to tell to our subscribers and to our watchers, if you want it, leave your comments, put your likes, and most probably when Jim has some window in his agenda, we will make there some special Zoom meeting where you can ask your questions and Jim will answer them. If you like it very much, and if you want to have the real support from the logistics marketing guru, leave it also in your comments, and most probably with Jim we will make some video course about how to make the successful marketing for the startups and small and medium-sized business. It's all in your hands, so your likes and your comments will give us the signal what we should do with Jim next. So I want to be now a bit selfish with your allowance, and I want to ask you one more question. And
Absolutely.
this question is very important. You and me, we had the experience, and we see now from left and right that in the USA and Europe is many companies using the words real-time visibility just for to gain the attention, gain the new customers, to prove themselves better than the competition. So everyone is crazy about the real-time visibility, and which some of the experts call like a version 2.0 of the track and trace. In your opinion, the era of the real-time visibility is on the peak of it, or we are facing soon the version 3.0?
So I would err on the side of real-time visibility is growing. The need for it is growing. I just did a LinkedIn post today on one of the new laws that was just passed in EU, which has to include visibility and real-time visibility. So I know for a fact that without visibility, without data and information and real-time insights that are underpinned by AI and machine learning, it does not work. You need to know not only where things are, but how they are, meaning how cold, how hot, how wet, how dry, where did they come from, where did they stop? And then there's the security part of it, right? I mean, the theft of cargo is an ongoing issue worldwide. You can see what's happening in, all parts of the world with, bandits and people that are stealing freight, and they're opening containers, and, all of this stuff, all is preventable, in most cases, not all. There are no absolutes, but without visibility, and as you said, version 3.0 of visibility, which I believe is not about the data or even about the information. Data is the bits and pieces. Information is when you stitch those pieces of data together. It's going to be about, in 2024 and beyond, it's going to be about real time, and it's going to be about insights and context. So putting that data and information into context so that you can get predictive about how you do business, how you ship, which routes you take, which ones you don't, which modes you use. Do you use air? Do you use, truck? Do you use ocean? These are all decisions that can be made using real-time visibility and the insights that real-time visibility afford us.
Jim, thank you very much. I want to say it loudly and honestly that all these minutes what I spent it with you, I was swimming in the positive waves of the talking to real professional, to real guy who knows the marketing in the logistics. I'm very thankful to you. I do appreciate that you find for me the time today, and I wish you to make more companies happy. I wish you year after year to get more and more companies to the success. And unfortunately, I have to say goodbye and see you next time. Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Mir. Good talking with you.
Thank you.